Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I feel like Into the Spider-Verse is a watershed movie in we're going to try different things with animation, and this movie does try something different, although I don't love it as much as that. But there's something weird and kind of cheap about it. I can't put my finger on it. It feels expensive, but also cheap at the same time. Maybe it's the absolutely disgustingly ugly character models for everybody but the turtles and the mutants, which is fine that they're ugly. But the humans are the worst looking things I've seen. So this reporter has just like another chin on the side of her face. Why? People have just elongated chins that are off to the side for some reason. Guys' heads are bulbous and like things or tumors are all over them. Is it just because Seth Rogen thought it would be funny? Or the Jeff Rowe, the director, thought it would be funny? Because it's not. It's just kind of gross. It was immediately off-putting. Like, literally, the first scene is showing the guy creating the compound that creates the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he, like, gets close to the camera, and his mustaches and beard is all wiry and, scribbled on. It looks terrible, and I immediately was like, ugh, gross! The way that it starts, basically, is this guy is creating the ooze, and he creates Superfly and his gang of misfits, Bebop, Rocksteady, the whole crew, whatever. I don't know their names. I don't care. And he gets killed by the government who's trying to get him, some nameless corporation, faceless, nameless corporation who wants to get him and create his research or some shit. I don't know or care. It doesn't really matter to the plot almost at all.
You sure about that?
The people show up and start milking the turtles at one point and then disappear. So it's just like nothing, just a nothing storyline. Then we get to see the ooze falling into the sewer, and it cuts to the turtles in modern day, 15-year-olds hanging out in New York, forget about it, we outside, Pop Smoke, R.I.P. And they're just like running around talking about how they want to be accepted. They go to a Ferris Bueller's Day Off screening with all the horrible, disgusting humans that are watching it, and it makes them want to be a part of society. And that's the general theme, is acceptance. And we could talk about that more later. But back to what I was talking about, the first act and how off-putting it is. Then they go into the sewer, and their father, the rat, gives them a whole backstory that they already know, but tells it to them anyway. And it chronologically goes through how we got to this point. From the beginning, from when the ooze fell in to the cutting of 15 years later, then it's telling the time chunk of that 15 years later, which is incredibly weird to me. Why couldn't you just show that earlier? Why do we have to cut to now, then cut back 5 minutes later? From there, though, the movie does get better, I'll admit. Only marginally, though. I think the movie in general has this air of laziness to it that was very disappointing. I think the humor is just the worst. I didn't laugh once. I barely cracked a smile. And maybe I'm just a cynical asshole, which I am. However, this movie is Seth Rogen humor, dumbed down and aimed at kids. And there's nothing worse on this earth than Seth Rogen humor where he can't swear or make weed jokes. I mean, that's not good anyway, but the humor then becomes what's trending, and we're going to make fun, poke fun at that. Oh, the puke girl caught on TikTok. Just stop. Can you stop?
We must use stealth and cunning to infiltrate the human world and retrieve Go-Gurt.
Okay, Batman.
Dude, what? I'm just trying to hype you guys up,
Give
okay?
me that list, okay? What else we getting? 4 quarts of non-fat milk, ice cream, fruits and veggies, and a party-sized bag of Cool Ranch Doritos.
And speaking of annoying, the music choices, God, they're the worst. This movie, like many that are trying very hard to be very cool and very funny, have to put in pop songs and songs that everybody knows. So it does, constantly. Every other song is a pop song. Overlapping fight sequences that don't need them. Angel, you're my guardian angel. Lay this to rest. Anytime that a movie does this, it comes across as if they are desperately trying to make a scene work when they thought it might not. That's all I can think. Oh, this fun, possibly good action scene is just drowned out by a pop song. Again, I just don't understand the mentality here. Why would you do this?
Sir, we now have the disruption frequency.
Broadcast.
I was constantly berated by music. It felt like I was watching Suicide Squad again in 2016. It's a solid kids movie. It works, but why does it work? And why is it a cut above some other horrible, terrible kids movies? Well, there's a couple things. One, I actually very much enjoyed the villain of this. Ice Cube is great.
Y'all some little tortoises, huh?
I can't believe there are other mutants.
You want to roll with us? Humans are never gonna like us.
The villain is well done. I thought he paralleled the main characters pretty well. You have the rat father of these turtles who is tyrannically controlling them to a certain extent, not like Superfly is, but controlling them. He doesn't want them to go outside. He doesn't want them to be hurt. He loves them too much. He doesn't want them to be shunned by society like he was. So he's kind of controlling them. And Superfly is the exact same. He's controlling the other mutants. Ratman, whose name is just for this game. Same as Ratman. They are shunned by society. They don't believe that they can be accepted by them, even though that's what they desperately want. So Superfly inverts what the rat does. The rat goes into hiding. He wants to self-isolate, and Superfly just wants to shoot everybody. He wants to beat everyone up and kill everyone. He's a bad dude. Two different types of acceptance in this movie, too, which I thought was well handled. You have the turtles and the mutants wanting acceptance in society. They've been outcast. They've been shunned. They desperately want to be a part of society because who wouldn't, you know? Who wants to be outcast? Nobody. Who wants to get picked on at school? Not April in this movie, who's the only decent-looking character model in the whole film. And then there's the part of the movie that's about self-acceptance, too. Everybody has to kind of fall into their role and accept that that's who they are and be very good at that. There's a good moment near the end when Blue Mask guy is becoming the leader. He comes into his own. The Red Mask guy comes into his own as the big guy who's going to punch things. So it does that pretty well. And the fight sequences are good. They're well handled until they're ruined by music. I particularly love the sequence when they're fighting through different mobs in New York, one by one, all strung together by this fun, exciting montage where they're punching people and it will match cut to the next person getting punched in the same way. That stuff is very, very fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
We take out Superfly, and then everyone will think we're cool. They'll accept us.
And it all kind of converges in this nice stew that is lukewarm, but still pretty decent, you know? And that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. A solid stew of ideas, plot threads, mutants, and other garbage that Seth Rogen can throw in there. It's fine. It's a fine movie. If you have got kids, it's 2 hours that you don't have to hear them screaming. 6 out of 10.
That's all, folks.